Ladies and gentlemen, and Barry. I'm not gonna be on long because I want to settle in for the night. I thought I'd do a little extra show today. Why not? I mean, why not? Okay, build it and they shall come. Everybody wants to hear what I have to say. Well, because maybe what I say, when my lips are moving, I'm not lying. That's for sure. Okay, maybe I'll wait a little longer for a few people to show up because I don't plan to be on here too long. First of all, I want to say I really enjoyed Bummer's show. I really did. Do more. Do more like that. It was a little long for my comfort, and that thing with the Indian guy, well, the thing with the Indian guy, that was kind of played out. And I'd be careful with that guy because I don't think he likes you. Well, join the club. Big club out there. You got a fan club, all right. I can't say they all admire you. I think you got to retire from your, I call it, YouTube air boxing. Because that's all you're doing. You're air boxing. Couldn't do it in real life, but you do it on YouTube. Like I'm not a real doctor. I just play that on YouTube. All right, hold on. Let me close the door here, my good buddies. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Shut this light off, put this one on. Get nice and comfy. Comfy. Okay. Now I'm better. Jay says, overstayers don't get... No, they don't. Well, combined with, 5 cyber libel counts, which are criminal, not civil. And I love the way he's always bringing up this Hawaii shit. That's dead and gone. You know where this shit goes? It goes to a collection type of agency. And then when nothing goes with them, it then gets turned over to another. They buy them off. So they're making money. Because one collection agency says, okay, this guy's starting a business. Let's give him some clients or whatever, Okay, I got this case here, a civil case, and well, if you want to handle it, we're not doing any well with this. But, if you want to say about that, time barred. Okay. No, man, he ain't getting bail, he ain't getting shit. But, just appease him. Bummer's going to be Bummer, okay? You're not going to change a man like that. It's impossible. There's no one on earth that could change that man unless he changes himself. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and that's not going to happen. I think after almost, 10 years, has he changed at all? No. There you go. It's not going to happen. Yeah, what Jay said, yeah, maybe that's his best option, really, at this point. Yeah, about 7 p.m., I did get a little communique from my lawyer's assistant. Well, he's a lawyer too, not his assistant, but it's a partner. He knows who he is because he's seen him at court. He's a skinnier guy, younger, skinnier. Oh, he said a few things with me that were very encouraging. Of course, I'm not going to share that on here. Yeah, I think the Bummer's in a lot of trouble. And guess what? Normally, I would send him more than, the general lawyer that I deal with. I'm talking about his partner now. I would send him some clips every now and again. But on his own accord, he was listening to Bummer's show. He said, in his own words, pretty much, hey, I'm well ahead of you. I actually watched his show tonight. I said, really? Did you honestly? He said, yeah. He said, man, that guy's a really big troublemaker. And he said, don't worry. He's not going anywhere. He's not getting bail. He'll never be able to come into this country once he is deported. And this is coming from my attorneys, and they know a lot better than I do, and they know the laws more than hell. I ain't got no goddamn law degree, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, like Bummer does. Good evening, Mr. Kubota. Hi, Digger. Taking notes? Yeah, of course he is. A visible friend says, if you ran from immigration for 7 years, you're not likely to be honest about not being a flight risk. Yeah, I would say so. Look, guys, we could do shows back and forth, and that's what's providing people the drama and entertainment on here. You know that, I know that. But when push comes to shove on this whole fucking thing, at least where he's concerned, we know where this is going. We could talk back and forth, and, he's trying to trade wits with me, but he has no wits. None whatsoever. It's funny, I actually enjoyed his last show. It was a little long for me. Because normally a lot of his shows, I kind of whiz through the key points of his show. I don't, if there's a clip worth taking, I'll take the clip. Boy, I got a bunch of clips extra here, too. One day I'll have to share it, if I can get my other phone to work. That's why I don't do any technical shit here. I'll play it from one phone to the other, all the clips, and, send it out on YouTube and all that. And nothing fancy-ass about what I do. But I got so many goddamn clips, I don't know what the hell to do with them. Because he's providing me with all this stuff, he's actually providing me with all this extra evidence. And I'm like sitting back and like, okay. Or as, sounds like, what's his name? Okay. Who does that sound like to you? What vlogger that ain't on anymore that might come back on sounds like that? Now, without my glasses here right now, so, okay, I'm doing my best. Invisible friend, it does not matter if he is an undesirable and not welcome back. He will never have the funds to come back, more than likely, yeah. Raining cats and dogs, welcome back. I think his so-called support is trolling him. No way they can believe the rubbish he talks. Well, he's going to act like that, like, oh, these people are really supporting me. No, they're laughing at him. They want that train wreck to go on. They will pretend that they support him. They'll even make nasty comments against me. But guess what? Guess what? They don't like him at all. But they're trying to push him to get him aggravated, to get him going and get that steam going and get those veins bursting out of his neck. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push him on and egg him on. Yeah, you go get him, Bummer. You go get him, Bummer. But they're laughing their fucking asses off. I have a friend out there. You've seen him come on, Trevor. He loves listening to Bummer. He just loves listening to him. The guy's he's a professional guy. No, not a lawyer, nothing like that. He's a professional guy who works at night. And when he doesn't have, people to attend to, he turns on YouTube. And if Bummer has a show on, he turns it up and he listens to it. And he just like laughs his ass off. Don't you, Trevor? He just laughs his ass off. Yeah, Kubota says he was quick to block. Yeah, I saw that. And someone called me Judge Suckerbutt. Well, I think you'll survive that. A visible friend says, these people who will not give him $10 are just playing him. Yeah, they want him to feel like he's important. I mean, $10 is not going to solve his financial problems. A visible friend says he will spend the next 2 to 3 years in jail. No way this will not happen. That's what I'm really thinking. And no, he's not going to spend 30 years in jail for that. But who the fuck knows? 5 years. If the guy gave him like 6 years for each count, that would be 30 years. In other words, he's going to die in jail. And even if they gave him 3 years, he'd probably die in jail. There's no way he could handle being in a real prison. There's no, with his asthma, the conditions in a prison, the bacteria, germs that are around there, and not to mention the inmates that may not like him. No, he would not last 1 to 3 years in a health-wise or otherwise in a real prison. There's no way there's no way that'll ever happen. He's 49, 79 away from, he's already spent what everybody that gave him already on a grab meals. No, he needs more than 5,000. You think he's going to be fine in a real prison? What makes you think that? Oh, he'll talk the jail talk. Well, he already talks street talk already. You know. I'm going to kick his fucking ass, man. You know, he's a goddamn pervert. He likes little children. Trying to convince them that I'm this bad guy, you know. And it's, you know, it's jail talk. It's jail talk. He already talks jail talk because he's, you know, he's had experience with jail before, you know. Cockroach survivor. Yeah, cockroach has survived, you know, the Ice Age. So, you know, who knows? Who knows? I don't really see that. I don't really see that. He's awfully frustrated. But, you know, as I said, don't blame me. Blame yourself. I don't want to hear that bullshit anymore. What is bullshit? Brain damage. His new friend sending video clips of you. Mark Tuttle. Boy, that guy is whizzed out. That guy is like, he's either in love with me or he's just plain bored out of his fucking mind. He lives in this rural town in the country, and he is his old lady is out of the country, and he's got more time on his hands right now. Yeah, a lot of the comments are coming from the Turtle Man, and I don't answer most of his. You know, it pisses him off when I don't answer him. I'm used to Tuttle the Turtle, with his negative comments. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I don't even know the guy. I've dealt with him before. He's trying to be like a big player in all of this. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to be a big player to get attention. Fisto says you can see him get super angry towards the end of some of the streams. It must definitely be taking his toll. Of course it's taking his toll on him. Who's been on a holiday? Turtle Man? Judge Gabota says, and Shaw loves it because she knows where and who he is with. She knows where to find him. Exactly. Yeah. Invisible Friend says, Barry will do jail time for the charges. Mark my words. Brain Damage says, trolls discovered he lives in Udaneta, Pangasinan. Okay, we'll make a note of that. Here, let me screenshot this for a second. Okay, so I know exactly. I went to a reconnect, but I got a screenshot of that. Okay, thanks for telling me that, in case I need that information. Right on. Yeah, he's a really a weird dude, man. He really is. I think he's the one that's been writing me a lot under a different name on emails, one of them anyway. I don't get that many. There's maybe 3 people that periodically write me, especially Timmy, who somebody says is actually, well, he told me that he was Ryan. You know who Ryan is? I know the name. He says to me that he's a businessman or something or whatever, I don't know. He says his name is actually Ryan. Well, that's what he's telling me anyway, you know. Yeah, I don't really think this guy does a lot with his time. He's kind of like Popeye in a sense that he's there. I mean, if a guy got a show on, he's there. He'll drop everything. Middle of a meal, middle of a shower, middle of slopping the pigs or whatever he does. He'll just drop everything just to come on and comment on my show. And truthful it is, I don't think he even likes Bummer, but he just wants to get some attention where maybe he's not getting it at home. It's the only thing I could think of, you know. Brevis is going about in Bummer stream As multiple. Oh yeah, he does have multiple accounts. You notice how the copycat changed to uh, did not on the regular. Now it's maybe they got striked or something, or changed hands, but now it's on replays, the replay channel. Yeah, how interesting is that? And I think I know who's behind that, but we won't put that out. Put it in my back pocket. Brain damage says Turtle sounds like he rides the short bus. He sounds disabled. Yeah, he kind of does. There's something about his voice. Um, I don't know how old he. I don't think he's a young man. Not by his voice. But I don't even want to give him credit by actually talking about him. But besides, invisible friend Frank, who besides yourself is most likely to have money like they say they have? Oh, let's see. Good question. A lot of people say that they have, but not. They don't necessarily. You know. Let's see. I think Big E makes a few bucks, so he's able to travel around. That's how I know. Big E has a few bucks. Don C, that's really questionable with Don C. Don C tries to play the big game, but I just see something missing there. And for a guy that's living in Thailand that his interest is totally in the Philippines, he's in the wrong place. Don C always has something to say. You know why he's mad at me? He's mad at me because of the fact that he tried to get Nika. They call her the wheelchair girl. She's not a wheelchair girl. Her name is Nika. And she has a disease. Polio. Her name is Nika, not the wheelchair girl. They got to put a nickname for everybody. Like a heart attack Mike or some lame statement like that. And when he couldn't get something done with her, spent a couple of thousand on a lawyer, and it didn't work out. And the lawyer just threw it out and said, "There's no way." She said, "How old is this woman?" Well, Dawn was making it sound like she was a really young woman, and somebody tried to attack her. No, me and Nika actually had a good friendly relationship and all that. And she felt that what's the word? It was a friendship, but then like when Gilda came into the picture, I'll tell you what happened with that. When Gilda came into the picture, she got really jealous. And I'm going to tell you something. There's only one time that I was ever over there without Gilda, believe it or not. And the first time I was there without Gilda, her mom and dad was there. Her mom, dad was still alive. Unfortunately, he died of lung cancer or something like that. Valentine's Day, I came over there with my girlfriend, with Gilda. And we bought her some chocolates that she wanted. She wanted the M&Ms, certain kind. A card. Yeah, I was really kind to her. But she got niffed with me is what happened. And during my time with Gilda in the beginning, I'd be staying at this condo I'm renting. I was staying there a month at that time. So I had a good month to stay with her at that time to get to know her a lot better. And she was calling me off the hook. I mean, you want to know the real story? I'm going to tell you it right now, and then I'm going to get over it. She was calling me off the hook. And Gilda was feeling really uncomfortable with that. I would get on the phone and say, "Look, I got Gilda here. I really can't talk to you." I said, "Why don't you let me give you a call when I have some free time?" Now, I became interested in her situation because I went over there and I actually did a little documentary type stuff showing where she lived. I did some interviews with her. I went around with her father. He showed me all around that property, how it was right on this little river tributary. And he's explaining to me how that river would fill up and come right up to her doorway. Don't forget, this place was elevated, okay? This place was elevated. And when he got big rains, that basically is a sewer shit there, man. So when he got some big rain, would come up to her doorstep, which is about, I estimate, 6 feet for you when you walk up this broken stairwell she had to the door. If that sucker came up 6 feet to the door, of course I didn't witness that. She just told us how high that would get. I was looking at the living conditions, and it was horrific. The roof was leaking. There was an open roof area. Clothes were everywhere. They didn't have any good storage shelves. And the sad thing about it is that she had to go to the bathroom. Her sister would have to pick her up. Very hard to do. I know, because I tried to pick her up and put her in a taxi cab. Her sister would have to lift her up, and her mother was developing a bad back for having to do that, because when the father was alive, I don't know why, but that's what Nick had told me, that he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to carry her. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't have the answer to that. I'm going to go by what Nick had told me. Her sister used to carry her down. Basically, she carried her underneath the house. And there was like a bucket under there, and she would basically... Now, I wasn't going to bring her down there and do that. I had the capability of doing that, but to a point, because actually, she was a short gal, but she was very heavy, because at one time, I had to put her in a taxi cab in the front seat, passenger seat, because we were going to head to the mall. It was me and Gilda and her mom, and we were going to head to the mall. So we took her wheelchair, folded it up, and the driver helped and put it in the back. So I had to pick her up, and I got to tell you, I almost broke my back, which I have problems with. I tried to be like, real macho and all that stuff, like it didn't bother me, but it was killing my back to lift her up and put her in that front seat. I managed, without showing how much pain I was actually in. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm missing all the comments here. CW has some money. The fact that he's sending 50,000 pesos, he's working in UAE. Yeah, I would imagine that CW has some money. But I think he burned his bridges with CW, and rightfully so. It don't matter if CW likes me or not. That don't matter at all. It's just that CW realized that he was giving money to Bummer to help him out, to utilize... Same story all the way through the years. Same story. He was given money to help him out, for his legal whatever, and he didn't use it for that. Yeah. I imagine if you saw Turtle Man, I got this image in my head. If you've never seen somebody before, you just kind of listen to their voice, and you could try to think from the kind of like the tone of their voice, you get generally their age, and you can kind of let a picture what this guy looks like. He's probably a small guy, with gray in hair, and he's probably frail. I mean, really frail. I just get that notion when I hear him talk, and he sounds really lonely, man. Even when he had a chance to really, he did attack me when he was on Kevin's show or Barry's, whatever. But when you listen to him, it's like he was forcing himself to talk about me. I know it sounds really strange, but, on his written comments, he'll call me every name in the book. But when he goes on somebody's live stream, it's like a different demeanor in a way. He's softer spoken, and he doesn't go way out on the attack. He'll attack me, but he doesn't go way out on his attack. And Kevin's just kind of sitting there, okay, and he's just going on and on and on. But it was funny the other night when somebody put a recording of mine on, and both Kevin and Bummer bought it. They bought it thinking I was on there live, and Bummer starts talking on me and asking me questions, or being a real asshole that he is. And that wasn't even me. It was me, but it was a recording that somebody put on there, and they both bought the story. That was funny. That was funny. Yeah. Invisible friend. I would get him to be like a Walmart greeter or something like that. That's the kind of feeling I get too. You got that vibe too, huh? I don't know what he did for a living, but I can tell you that he's lost without his wife being there. I could definitely tell that. And since she's went to visit her daughter in another country, he's been really lonely. He's been extraordinarily lonely. You can tell. That's why he's been on a lot lately because his wife is not in town. I don't know how long she's gone for. I don't know how long she's gone, but it shows. It shows. It really does. He's lonely, man. I think he's lonely where he lives. He talks about he's in this really rural area, and he doesn't, really talk to any foreigners. The ones that are around, because the real rural area are all kind of spread out. I think basically what he's got is his wife, and that's it. That's what I think. Or any pets he might have, cats or dogs. Maybe a couple of pigs to slop out there or something. I don't know. But I just get the journey and the feeling that he's a very lonely man. Oh, he's on every show. He's on there. He's out there all the time. He was on Kevin's the other day. I think they all get trolled. What am I doing for New Year's? Well, the kids are going to be coming over here, starting to come in. Two of them are coming here tomorrow. The ones that I take care of, they'll be here tomorrow, and then the rest of the crew will be in here. Um, I think they're all coming here for New Year's, and then it's Gilda's birthday on the second, but we're not celebrating it on the second. We're going to celebrate it on the fourth, probably, because this way they could all be here. Because some of them had some other things going on with work or school or something like that. So yeah, we're going to have a bunch of people here. And New Year's Eve, well, it's kind of like this at New Year's Eve. I'll stay up for a while until about maybe 10 o'clock. I'm going to go to sleep. Then maybe wake up at 12 or something, get some rest first of all, wake up at 12. And I guess they're going to eat food and stuff like that they do out here. But, it's just it's another day to me. They kind of make a big thing of it out here, but I don't make a big thing of it. When I was a younger, oh yeah, it's New Year's, It's just another day, man. People making all these resolutions. You don't have to wait till New Year's to make a resolution or make changes in your life, your attitude, anything else. You can do that any day of the year. You've got 365 days. You don't need New Year's to make a change in yourself or something. Yeah, I'll be occupied. There's no question about that. I gotta watch what I eat, though. I mean, I don't eat. Her birthday is going to be a big buffet. Of course, it's going to be lechon. Of course, because I don't eat. Actually, it's not the truth. I eat some forms of pork. I mean, very rare do I eat bacon. Very rare. I love bacon. I love bacon. But very rare that I eat bacon. I'll use it in a salad or something like that, or make a sandwich with egg or something like that, or bacon and eggs. Very rare do I eat bacon. Let's see. The only pork I eat will become in the form of shomai, but that could be made with pork or chicken or beef in there. Sometimes it's mixed. Um, as far as tocino, I eat only chicken tocino. And there's also this other thing that looks like tocino, but it's actually spiced up. I forgot what the name of it is. I really like that. It's actually beef. Beef, beef. It looks like the same shit in a tocino bag, only it's beef, something or other on there. Okay, I forgot the name of it. Not much in Scotland, huh? Nah, man. Back mostly in the Seattle days, I never did anything on New Year's in Hawaii. I was a homebody there. I mean, you know, I had to take care of the property. My brother, did work until he couldn't. We were always busy trimming. I'm mowing grass all the time. I got my weed trimmer out, my gas-powered weed trimmer, the whole bit, grass blower. I do my yard and I do in front of the house, the road, because I'd have to trim a lot of the palms that were lining the driveway all the time. That was a big job. But we didn't know where the hell to dispose of it really. So there's this one area on the side on my property that I just made a pile of that shit, just let it disintegrate. But I had to, trim the fronds and the fronds on the leaf on the plants, and then I had a couple of orange trees. I had this, I had that. I had to attend to them. I had to attend to the flowers, and plenty more sometimes. Many times I had to. Well, there was a lot of trimming that went on with all the different kind of bushes and trees. A lot of things I did. I had to chlorinate the water in the water tank. That was only once a month, but changed the filters on there. Out of all my monthly stuff, and occasionally I'd have to go up on the roof with my pressure washer and clean the gutters out. And if I felt brave enough, I'd go on the roof and start pressure washing all the soil that's on it's kind of a grayish blue colored roof. You could see it very clearly from the ground if it was really soiled. And I'd have to go out there and be in a certain position. I didn't slip. Work my way down, not up and then down, and walk on the wet. It wasn't a highly pitched roof, but still, I still wasn't the youngest man in the world. I didn't want to slip and break my full neck, So I was very careful. And during my, I had tenants, and I was such a nice guy, and I did get along for a while with the tenants. He'd go up there and he'd pressure wash. Well, the guy owed me fucking 4 months' money. Go up there and he'd help out and pressure wash. And I did most of the work myself. I repainted by hand, by brush, the whole house. The whole house. Window trim, everything. I did it by brush on my own. I didn't use a paint sprayer. I just took my time. I did one side, did another side. Then I got some drops, from the blue of the house that would drip on the white of the trim. I'd have to go back and paint the white of the trim, but it was drippage, and the other way around, the white trim, if I wasn't careful, white used to go on the blue exterior. I'd have to go back and get the, then I'd have to fix the corner of the gutters. I have to use a sealant on there quite often because the water was just draining out of there on a hard rain. I personally had to replace 6 foot of the board underneath the gutters. That the gutters were actually fascia board that was rotting from the water from the gut. There was a lot to do. I mean, put it this way, it kept me occupied. It kept me occupied. Aberdeen Angus steaks. I've had Angus steaks. I've had Angus. We had an Angus restaurant there. What was that called? Something Angus. I think that's some good food there, man. I never heard of that either, Judge Kubota. No, I haven't heard of that. Well, why don't we kind of sum this up? And I don't know how many times I could really say this, but, Bummer needs to save his speeches for the courtroom. When his turn comes up, if it ever does, save it. Save it for the courtroom. Nobody wants to hear your shit. I don't want to hear your shit. You already pleaded guilty in court. What do you expect to happen? Although I told you, we did not accept his plea of guilty. So if it goes back not being accepted by the judge, because the judge has to respect our request. Now the judge could either say, nope, he pleaded guilty, we're going to leave it at that, sir. Or he can say, okay, counsel, you will not accept their pleadings, and that's it. There's nothing to argue about anymore. I just go there and I do my testimony, and might be able to introduce some new information in on this. We have to file a motion on that. That's the way it's done. You just can't come in there with new evidence. It doesn't work that way. My lawyer will question me on stand, and his lawyer will get the opportunity at some point to cross-examine me. Okay, and that's the way it works. And at some point, when it's Bummer's turn, he has to be able to get up on the witness stand. And he'll fall apart. You should have seen how nice he was trying to be to the judge. Well, Your Honor, he's on camera, he was on the screen. Didn't have the balls to even come into court. Oh, my back can't take that long ride. No, he just didn't want to pay for the ride. I told you, he's saving his money. He's got money saved up. He just wants you guys to pay it. He's got plenty of money. He's got to have about at least 10 grand in the bank by now. He would have had more, but he has to use some of that money because his girlfriend can't provide everything for him. How many times you hear him, I got to get my order, came in from Graham. Oh, where's his money coming? Has he got a money tree over there on the grounds of the detention center? It's coming from somewhere, and it certainly ain't coming from donations. So he'd say to his girlfriend, giving him a little something now and then. She can't give much. So he has to come from his account, and he screwed that up already. We all positively know that he's not getting, that he is getting his Social Security disability. And we're at that point now where there's absolutely no question about it. Okay, let's see. Bummer's like one of those little gnats buzzing in your ear, just a minor. He's an annoyance, that's all he is. He thinks he's getting my goat. He's not. He's just an annoyance. You're right. Like the little fucking the other night, there's a little mosquito in my room that was buzzing by my ear. Swat the fucker. He's like an annoying mosquito, as I like to call him, or skeeter. Squeetos. He's just buzzing his mouth, trying to sting me, but it's not working. It's not working. Everything has a start, folks, and everything has an end to it. It'll end somewhere. And I just got a gut feeling, judge, no matter what, already heard him plead guilty. I mean, what's there more to say? He knows what he has to do. He knows what he has to do, and he knows what that is. And he's talking about, I ain't got no money to pay you. Well, if the court decides in favor of us in regards to recouping attorney fees, he's going to owe that money, no matter if you don't have it. He will stay incarcerated somewhere until he's able to piece that money, and it's not $250. I've talked to my attorneys since that statement. No, we're talking at least $550,000, and obviously he's not going to be able to pay that. So basically, he will remain in a jail somewhere until he can actually pay off that. Then on top of that, he has to pay off remainder of the fines and everything else on the immigration issue that he has to pay off. All that. But then on top of that, the judge may allow further damages. The judge could probably come up with an additional anything he wants. A couple $100,000 more for our troubles. He's in financial distress. I mean, there's no question about it. No question. You've had to change butchers. Okay. Alright, guys. I'm just being extremely repetitive, and so is he. And it's just, I mean, I enjoy when he comes on. It's according to when it is, unless I'm watching a movie. But I absolutely enjoy when he comes on so I could hear more of his lies and bullshit and catch him in some good evidence. And how do you think I got all this evidence? Listening to him. And yes, I do absolutely have recorded shows on camera also. All the threats he makes me. We've got him. My attorney has had this for a really long time. He's got him on cards, on SD cards, or memory sticks, rather, I gave him. He's got it. He's got it because it's written up already. And this time, when it goes to the fiscal, it's going to be attached with tape, like they just did to the BOI, Board of Inquiries. It's attached. It's attached. This time, they're not going to make a mistake, like in the very beginning. No, I didn't lose a case against Bummer. There just was not enough evidence. On paper, there was, but all the timestamps and everything they made on there had to be a video card sent with the affidavit. So the first time what happened is they forgot to include it in the registered mail. And that's why the fiscal said, no, not this time, So we resubmitted it. It was their mistake. It wasn't mine. He noted it. He felt bad. He said, I lost sleep that night over that because I spent time preparing this stuff and we didn't put the damn video card in there. Cards, a couple of them. But, we resubmitted again with the cards, and the lawyer at the time who didn't get a copy, because she has to get a copy too, or he. I keep on saying she. It was a he. I don't know why. I always assumed it was a lady. But he did not get, the original lawyer did not get the video cards. She got the affidavit. And that's why that the fiscal didn't approve the first time around. Otherwise, it would have. It just wasted a lot of valuable time is what happened. Judge Cabot, do you agree with him that I've had to change butchers? You agree with him on butchers? I don't know. What you guys talking about? What you talking about, Willis? That I was watching this shit on YouTube or something, whatever it was. All these famous people who died, and most of it was from depression. They committed suicide. The most common suicides. These were singers, actors, Hollywood stars, musicians, well known. They all went into depression. Their careers, or when their careers started failing, and their finances were going south, and things were not going great in their career, but then they had personal issues in their life. They've also had a combination of health issues. And it's amazing, most of them at a younger age killed themselves. And a lot of there's actors from these family TV shows, some of them big movies, some pretty big rock stars. All depression seemed to be the denominator when things weren't working out in their life. Depression is really serious. Some of them was even loneliness. But, like, you come out with a hit record and, and you think, really start buying fancy cars and everything, thinking that their fame is going to keep up. And then when it doesn't, they have to go into bankruptcy. Their whole life falls apart. They had that moment of fame, the 15-minute moment of fame. Then it was gone. A different genre of music came up. They replaced theirs. Nobody was listening to their type of music. Yeah. I was really surprised that the Ramones made so much money. The Ramones. And my friend, and that wasn't Michael Sticker. That wasn't him. They came on a show because if that was Michael, he would have got a hold of me because I put out my email address and whatnot. And he would have got a hold of me. But that wasn't him. because he wouldn't call her Deb. He would call her Debbie Harry, not Deb Harry. That was a clue right there. Then when he said he was living in his van, a minivan, well, that's a possibility. I don't know where his life went. You know, he's the same age as me, if he's still alive. And no, that wasn't him. Because he would have got back to me, you know. Yeah, that was just somebody fucking around. I kind of figured it out right away. Because the minute he had my email address, I would have got an email from him. I have no doubt. Different strokes, Frank. Gary is security. Yeah, Gary. He became a sorry on Family Ties. What was it? Became a security guard. It was really embarrassing for him. And he had a temper. And he was a drunkard. Then, you know the guy, Hervé Villechaize? What was it, what's the guy's name that played Mini-Me? And the same thing with Hervé Villechaize from It's the Plane, Fantasy Island. And, well, Mini-Me, and I forgot his real name, and you see he had these full-size girlfriends and shit, or wives. You know what, they were looking for money. When you got fame, they love you. When you got no fame, they don't like you and they're gone. They have no reason to be with you. He was a major alcoholic, and Dr. Drew had this clinic, you know, for people with the same guy, the actor that played for Black Hawk or whatever. Good-looking guy. He just went down in flames with drugs. He just couldn't hack it. He's been on that show with, you know, Dr. Drew's rehabilitation show. And the guy who played Mini-Me, oh my God, he was a holy terror on that show. That little guy had a temper. And he was a blazing alcoholic, and he'd have a lot of anger. He'd come up to somebody and kick their knees or something or whatever. What a character he was. He played good as Mini-Me on there, you know. It's the Plane, the other one, Hervé Villechaize. All he really used to do was, it's the plane. But that was his key words. And he dealt with a lot of people. But little people like that don't live long, and extremely big people don't live long. Look at Andre the Giant and other people. Andre the Giant was a nice guy. You know who I really like, and he's still alive? Butterbean. Butterbean is my hero. He gained over he had 500 pounds. I was just doing something, reading on that. 500 pounds. And he had a bad hip, really bad hip. And for quite a while, you know, he was walking crooked, and it got to a point he was in a wheelchair for quite a while. And he got this special rehabilitation. It helped him go from like practically 500 pounds down to 250 or something. And he's able to walk. He's still a little bit on the hunch, but Butterbean was exceptional. He really didn't have much boxing skills, but when he put his body weight behind his punch, he'd be knocking people out left and right. Would he have won against Mike Tyson? No, because unfortunately, Mike Tyson was too quick for him. And Butterbean was, you know, Eric is his real name. And Eric would just rely on his punching skills. When he hit you, you went down. And he has a great sense of humor. He's your average dude. He's a guy that you could sit around with and feel really comfortable with. I've seen interviews with him. I'd love to know Butterbean, you know. But he's not worth a lot of money. I don't know, like $500,000, which to you and me is a lot of money, but, you know, he lost like 12 of his last fights or something because his hips just couldn't take it anymore. He was getting back pain that was debilitating, and he just couldn't continue. But Butterbean was the best. I liked him. Yeah, Mr. O'Rourke and Tattoo, right? Tattoo. Yeah, it's a shame. Gary Coleman and then Dana, I forgot her last name. Uh, she took the way out of drugs. She wasn't getting work after the show. She was even homeless in the streets. She worked for a dry cleaner place or something like that. And can you imagine? No wonder you get depressed. When these Hollywood people can't take this shit, they become famous, getting a lot of attention, they start making money, but then their career disappears for one reason or another. Look at the original George Reeves, who was the Superman. He got typecast. He's another one that killed himself. There's a whole list. I wish I could read them off. But he killed himself because he was typecast. He couldn't get any other roles. Robin Williams. I mean, there was a list of people that go back to the 30s and 40s that were into the movies. Very famous people, women and men. You know, Ernest Hemingway took his own life. How did they take their lives? It was either hanging, the list was hanging, or gun, or carbon monoxide poisoning from their car. They did that. Or they jumped off a structure. Now that's kind of the hard way to do it. You gotta be really hopeless and senseless to jump off a structure of a hotel. There was one gal, I don't remember who the starlet was, I think it might be going to the 40s. She jumped the Hollywood sign to her death. She jumped off the Hollywood sign. That's what she did. Shame. A lot of rock bands. How many members of all the rock bands? One guy from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I mean, I could go through a whole list, committed suicide. Then you wonder, they got all this success. But some of them got into really heavy drug problems. That was always an issue. They went to heavy depression. Some of them lost, one guy killed himself because another band member died. And a lot of the problems had to do with, they were really burnt out being on the road. Relationships would fail, and or somebody would die on them, or they knew they had a disease like cancer. They just didn't want to go to the point that they were going to be in horrible pain. And they just relieved themselves but mostly it was jumping off structures, it was hanging themselves, and it was a gun. And here and there was like, carbon monoxide poisoning. And a few of them overdosed purposely with barbiturates and some other drugs. Really a shame. Really a shame. And Mr. O'Rourke, right. It's the plane! It's the plane! I used to watch that. It was the biggest lame show that was ever on. It was Love Boat. And all the actors that couldn't get real good jobs in Hollywood, they'd all make their cameo appearances on a show to make a little money on the Love Boat. Yeah, that was like charity. It was charity. Do you know when the first Rambo movie, Sylvester Stallone, he made diddly shit on that movie. How many thousand or something? He didn't make $1 million or nothing like that. They made some shitty salaries to later on, but popular, and then, of course, demanding a bigger salary. But depression is what kills. Robin Williams, it was very questionable, but what was the story behind him, really? I think he had an illness that was going to mess up his brain, like Alzheimer's, or something was going to come up with him. I think that's why he did it. With all his fame and money, he even owned property in the same island I lived on. I know exactly where. I don't know the house, but I know where exactly, he was located. And he had property out there. These people have property everywhere. It's unbelievable. And you remember Let's see. This one guy, he had more property. Oh, Chinese karate guy, Jackie Chan. Holy fucking shit, he was worth a lot. He was worth a lot. That guy had more properties and you name it. They went through a list of everything that guy owned. I couldn't believe it. In China, though. This guy was, well, I think they said he was connected a little bit too. And there were scenes that he would use doubles. Yeah. He was good at what he did. He was very entertaining, but there were some really terrible things said about him. That the kind of person he was. He's involved with some kind of dark things. But, box list tops, he made a lot of money. Invested in properties and it's just unbelievable, man. JR was your favorite character. I never watched Dallas. I didn't like Larry Hagman. He might have been good on Bewitched. Was he on Bewitched originally? I did not watch that show at all. I never watched that. Dallas. I never did. I just wasn't interested. Because, Larry Hagman, he's never been my favorite actor. Well, I finished my Virgin River for this season, and they're not going to be even starting filming again on this until sometime in spring of next year. So we got to watch it from front to end. And again, I enjoyed watching that. You'll see it on the list on new movies on Netflix or something. And so many people were watching it that sometimes I went to put my new episode on. Too many people were watching a movie that overloaded the system. But then, Mr. Technically Challenged here. It should be easy enough, but I try to mark down what episode and season it was. I always wind up having to scoot through 5 or 6 episodes or more to find where I left off. Because maybe I didn't make a note of the episode and season. But I enjoyed it. And I can't wait till they put it on again. But I'm trying desperately not to watch another series. There's nothing out there so far I think that I'd care to watch. I'm very selective what I watch. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I gotta wind myself down about this time. So let's kind of look at this whole crap that's going on. It's just useless. The back and forth with this guy. He's never going to stop. And even if he goes to jail and gets out, it has to be in the United States, he will be putting shows on. I think this all in my head. That's why I'm not being generous with him. Oh yeah, he will be doing a show dedicated to me. He'll never stop. He'll never stop. He'll say slanderous things for me and think he can get away with it and all that shit. Of course he is. And he's going to need revenue from YouTube to survive. He don't really need it because he gets his check every month. There's been no break in his check. So he knows and realizes now that we're hip to his jive. We know it's going down. No need to even fight over that anymore. He's getting his money. And I don't appreciate the fact that he's saying that I'm threatening his girlfriend. I am not threatening her at all. Not at all. What, the fact that I brought up that if she's making perjurious statements on her statement, the complaint, that there could be ramifications for that. And if she wants to play dirty, I can still go further. And My lawyer can look up the ruling on that. The involvement of harboring, embedding, and aiding somebody who's basically a fugitive. He was a fugitive, no matter what you call it. Fugitive from immigration. He was hiding out at her place. She damn well knew about that. I don't want to hear anything different. I'm not. I totally believe it. It's going to get ugly before it gets better. Let's just put it that way. He knows what he has to do. Can I take a little break from this, guys? Seriously? If I do any more shows, talk about something very mundane. I'm really burnt out on this. Let the court handle this shit. Let the lawyers handle this shit. It don't matter what he says on his show. It's not going to change what he did. He could be in a state of denial every time he wants, but he's going to have to face reality at some point. And he should be facing it right now with over 20 months being incarcerated. He's not in there that long because of me. I just happen to have a case on him. And that's why he's in there, because they will not allow you to get bail, or, well, they will not allow you to exercise your summary deportation. That's why he's in there. It's not me directly, indirectly. There happens to be a case on him. And this is a criminal, not civil case. And I'm correct. He will never be able to come into this country again for the rest of his life when this is all over. Thank goodness for the Filipinos and other Filipinos out here that eventually do not have to deal with him anymore. Judge Kubota says he's a pathetic beggar. Oh, he's been on a begging wagon big time lately. So here's my advice to you, Mr. Bummer. Put a lid on it, man. You're not getting anywhere with what you're saying about me on YouTube. They already established you to be a liar. Nobody trusts you. And again, and again, and again, and again, you are sure not helping out your situation at all. I suppose I should thank you for that. I should, and thank you. Yes, thank you. You're making it so much easier for me, and you're giving me evidence. Every show you put on, there's always evidence and clips I take from that. I don't think you have a snowball's chance in hell, my opinion, for not getting some kind of a sentence, no matter what it is. Even if it was just 6 months in one day, a typical one. 6 months in a prison. It's not like working at the candy factory. It's pretty rough. The conditions are rough. You could be in a cell with 40 other people. If you have a bad attitude with somebody in there, you're around a lot of people, your ass is going to be wiped all over the goddamn prison floors. That's like a guarantee. With that being said, I got to go. My eyes are starting to get closed. You guys been listening to my shows all day. I've done a bunch of them. It's all right. I didn't mind, guys. And the dialogue has been fantastic today for the several shows I've done. And they've actually been pretty good lately. All I can say is you want to believe whatever you want to believe. That's okay with me. We all have our own belief system. A lot of people side with another party. That's what happens. But the truth comes out in the end. It all comes out in the wash, and they all float. They all float. So I'm officially saying that I'm burned out on this. And the problem is he doesn't have good communication with his attorneys like I do. He hasn't a clue what's going on, because he won't listen to his attorney. He hasn't a clue. He still thinks that there's a case in January. Well, that's not what the judge said. You believe him or the judge? Unless something changed, we don't know about it, but we would know about that. We'd be the first to know. And there's been only spoken words of a March hearing, if we have to make it to that hearing. It's It's not January. I don't know where he comes up with January. I've not heard from my lawyer saying that we have a hearing or case continuance in January. I heard in my own ears, even if one of them ain't great, what I heard. And it's March. I will leave a note for my lawyers, and I'll ask him, has something changed with the date? All right, man. I got to get out of here. I mean, for real. Barry, man, you're not helping yourself. I keep on telling you that. As I said, I'm not really trying to help you, man, but I'm just saying you're in a big doo-doo shit pile. Continue what you're doing, you're just guaranteeing that you're going to wind up in a prison atmosphere. People have been put in there for less. You've aggravated the guards, you've aggravated the warden, you've aggravated immigration, you aggravated the U.S. Embassy. Who haven't you aggravated? Let things be, man. And I'll let things be. Won't talk about you. If you feel more comfortable that way, we'll do that. But there has to be some mutual cooperation on this. So, if you can't cooperate, you're just going to wind up staying in jail a lot longer. They implement a fine on you, you have to pay that off. Have you figured out how you're going to do that? Good luck. Good luck on that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm actually my face is like a man.